Alright, what's going on, you guys? So I meant to do this video last week, and at the time Hurricane Florence was moving into my area of the state, and you know, all the weather people were saying, you know, oh man, it's going to be bad, 8 to 10 inches over 3 straight days, you know, rain, wind, power's going to go out, and they were just fucking really hyping that shit. So it didn't really make sense last Sunday, because I record on Sundays, it didn't really make sense to you know, sit there and record a video, drain my battery down, and then the power go out and not be able to charge it back up. But anyway, of course, absolutely nothing happened. It rained all day Sunday, and then the sun came out Monday, and that was it. No power outage, no wind, hardly any wind, I mean. And, yeah, I was like, okay, well, that was just a kind of a waste of time, but whatever. We're back doing it today, and I've got a stack here that a lot of these I've been meaning to show for quite a while. It's just another amazing lineup of 2018 releases. Sorry to beat the dead horse, but I mean, there's just so much good shit coming out this year, and I've actually been, you know, really trying to knock all that shit out. So we'll take a look at it and let me know what you think. Oh, and happy fall, by the way, which thank fucking God, because I don't know how much more of that summertime I could take. And I do this every year right around the turn of fall. It's just like, God fucking kill me. I'm so sick of this heat. Living in the South, man. Listen to Malignancy, Eugenics. I do believe this is the last full length they put out. They put out some other things here and there since, but I mean, I believe this is the last full album they've dropped out. When did this come out? 2012, I believe. This one's on Willowtip. I don't recall if any other label had put this out. This is just a Willowtip version. Fairly certain this one was dropped exclusively on Willowtip, so I don't remember, but a really good album, man. I haven't listened to this in a very long time, and I thought it's high time to fucking drop this one on the stereo and spin it for a while, so we're going to jam this for a while. Alright, first one I have is one that I remember when this was coming out, and I was really, really hyped to get this one, and even when I got it and listened to it after I'd already heard it before, it was just like, god damn, it's such a fucking good album. Having a hard time not listening to it, to be honest with you. It's just, I'm absolutely in love with this one. This is Our Place of Worship is Silence with Inexorable Suffering. Really oppressive black metal with a heavy emphasis on death metal, if that makes any sense. I don't want it to make it sound like it's a war metal album or, you know, something along the lines of, you know, like, you know, Abigail or anything like that. It's not. It's kind of its own thing, but it's really just a very dissonant, very barbaric, hellish, you know, album, man. It's got a lot of discord on it. You know, it seems kind of all over the place, but it really comes together really well to blend to make it a really chaotic, you know, dementia-inducing fucking killer piece of music. Yeah, released on Translation Lost Records, so always putting out good shit there. It's hard for me to explain. There's not a lot I can really compare it to. It's just kind of, it seems like it's all over the place, but, you know, at first listen, you're kind of like, it's just kind of, if you're not into noise, that's my first thought, was noise, but listen to it a little deeper, and it's not that. It's just kind of, yeah, I don't want to say it's technical wankery, but I mean, it's just got its own vibe, and it's a really, really cool album. I would highly recommend you check this one out if you haven't already. It does take a couple listens to fully grasp the depth of this, because there's a lot going on, but the more I listen to it, the more I'm in love with it, and it just gets better every single time I listen. So the cover art done by Jeff Whitehead, so how cool is that? And it looks really good. It's very, basically look at this, and it's hard to explain, like I'm saying, but, you know, you kind of get a feel what this record's like. I mean, it's kind of like, what is going on in this image? And that's kind of what's going on with this record. So, highly, highly recommend you to check this one out. One of my favorites of the year for sure. And I keep saying that about everything I show, but I mean, there's so much good shit coming out this year, and I'm actually being able to go out and buy it for once, so I've had money somewhat this year. That's Our Place of Worship is Silence with Inexorable Suffering. This is their second or third full length, and really good band. Go check them out. This one, I picked this one up a month or so ago, and it's another one that's just, holy God, it's so fucking good. And the more I listen to this one, the more I fall in love with it. This is Burial Invocation. Abiogenesis, just got dropped on Dark Descent Records. Shit. May, June, July, somewhere in there. Amazing death metal out of Turkey, of all places. I believe this is their debut full length. I'm not positive. I know they had a few other things out before this. I know they had that split with Anatomia, which That was out in 2011, I do believe. You know what? It might have just been an EP before that. I really don't recall right off the top of my head. To compare it to anything, it sounds a lot like Dead Congregation. So if you're a fan of that, you'll definitely be a fan of this. The one difference I can spot, this one sounds just a little bit more like it's got a little bit more of a Doom influence in it. I mean, it's very small and very minute, but I mean, that's just kind of where I'm coming from with it. Best thing I can do to explain it. Absolutely phenomenal guitar tone on here. I would love to know what kind of instrument, you know, what kind of amp, what kind of pedals, what kind of setup they had when they were recording this, because this tone sounds so fucking sick, man. It's one of my favorite guitar tones in, you know, out of all the albums I've listened to, at least lately, because this sounds fucking amazing. Just very heavy, very just grindy. It's got all of it in one. It just sounds fucking great. Obviously another art piece by Dan Seagrave. I think at this point you can spot it at a mile away. I mean, it's all these crazy fucking landscapes and shit, but it looks really, really good. I really enjoyed this one. I love the colors and all that sort of shit. So, yeah, man, again, it's one of those albums that the more you listen to it, the more you'll get into it, and, you know, it's just steadily climbing up the ranks of being one of the better albums of the year for me. So, highly recommend this one as well, as I do with every other album I show. But definitely go give this one a listen if you haven't already. Killer fucking album. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. So, Burial Invocation, go check that out. This one, I've had it a while, and I was kind of like, I don't want to really show it right now, because it seems like everybody was showing this album at one time, and I was like, I'll just hold off. I don't want to just, you know, throw another turd on the fire. That's my own expression. I don't even know where that came from. But, you know, I wanted to wait a while, and it seems like it's died down a little bit, so I'm going to show it now. God damn, this is a very, very interesting record and a really amazing listen. This is Wayfarer-Worlds Blood. Came out on Profound Lore earlier this year. It's an interesting take on some atmospheric black folk metal. Kind of in the vein of Falls of Roros. I cannot say that word. Roros. Whatever. And they are out of Denver, Colorado, which, holy God, the Denver scene is just absolutely fucking exploding. The Colorado scene in general is fucking exploding. There are so many good bands and great albums getting put out from that area. Makes me kind of want to move out there and just to go be around it and check it out, man, because there's a fucking flood of it coming out, and they are phenomenal. So I guess this is kind of about the old American West in terms of, you know, what the album is about. A lot about horseback riding through the Great Plains, and I mean, they really, really capture that vibe to a T. It's, you know, it's another one of those albums you can actually feel that you're in the place they're talking about and kind of writing music about. It just really paints a great landscape with their music. So, I mean, it's basically like talking about the Old West, you know, Native Americans, the mountains, the plains, the sky. It's just really wonderfully crafted, flawlessly executed. Yeah, this is great travel music for me. This is the kind of shit I like to listen to when I'm riding around the mountains around here. Amazing shit. And, you know, speaking of it being from the Colorado scene, Isaac Falk from Blood Incantation plays drums on this. So, yeah, kind of like another, you know, everybody come together and help everybody out, and it's just amazing fucking shit. The one thing I hate about this is the digipack, and I didn't even realize I got the digipack. It's not even a digipack. I don't know what you'd even call this. This is just what it came with. Yeah, it's just, this is it. And I hate putting this on my fucking shelf back here, because I know it's going to get crushed and torn apart at some point. But this is fucking pathetic. But it's my own fault for not getting in a jewel case or just buying the record in general. But still, it being a good album, I'm just going to let it pass. But I mean, it's just like, holy God, like, what were you thinking? Or, you know, to be fair, what was I thinking for buying it in this version? Because I just saw CD, well, I'll buy it. Because I'm trying to save money and I'm going to get a bunch of fucking CDs this year. But that being aside, man, holy fuck, what an amazing fucking record. Yeah, if you haven't gotten this already, I feel bad for you, so go pick this one up. So what we got next? Damn, this is one of the earlier ones that came out, and I've definitely been holding off on talking about this one. This one dropped in like March or April, I think. Yeah, fucking riff machine. This is Skeletal Remains. Devouring Mortality. It's an absolute blast from start to finish. Another one from Dark Descent. And they fucking kill it on this one. Just straight up California death metal in the vein of, you know, Obituary or Asphyx, kind of a combination of both. You know, what makes it great about it is just classic death metal. There's nothing really new, but it's still a really, really fun listen. I believe it's their third full-length overall, actually. It seems like they put out a few more than that, but I was kind of going through and looking at it, and I was like, damn, that's all they've got out, but it's whatever. Once again, another piece of art from Dan Seagrave, so, again, you can spot it a mile away at this point. But yeah, man, I mean, they just rip start to finish. I mean, the riffs are fucking amazing. You cannot help but get into it. You can't help but headbang to it. You'd be riding around, just fucking cruising, listening to this, making you want to haul ass. That's what I do anyway. It's just an absolute blast to listen to. Would really be great to see them live one day down the road. This and their previous releases just absolutely fucking rip. I don't think they put out a bad album. And again, this is another one that everyone was kind of talking about for a while. It's kind of why I've held off on showing it. But I've had this one in the collection. Honestly, like there for a while, I kind of forgotten I had it. So I was listening to it a lot when it came out, and then there's so much other stuff I was getting in, and I just kind of forgot about it. And then it was like, you know, I found it on the shelf. I was like, oh yeah, I need to talk about that one. So, yeah, man. Again, nothing really new, nothing you haven't heard before. If you like Asphyx or Obituary or Death, you will dig this album. It is what it is. It's just simple, classic death metal, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's amazing shit. So, yeah, wow, amazing fucking record. All right, I've been rambling like a son of a bitch. I don't know why these were just albums that I was kind of dreading talking about also, just because I didn't, you know, there's some of them are just weird. Wayfarer and you know, Our Place of Worship was two of them that I was really dreading having to talk about. And I just didn't know if I'd be able to deliver on that, but it's whatever. This is the last one. At least for this video, and I know a lot of people shit on it when it came out. I did too. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was that great. And the more I listen to it, the more it's growing on me a little bit, and I think it's pretty good at this point. This is Craft, White Noise and Black Metal. Of course, band's out of Sweden. I don't need to tell you that. When this came out, I was very meh. It's okay. When I first got it, I really just felt like it was lacking a little bit. It was a little boring. Now that could have just been, you know, what I was listening to at the time. I was just, I don't know. And I think what it was is I was expecting it to be more like Terror Propaganda, which I definitely like that one the best out of everything that Kraft has done. It's more along the lines of Fuck the Universe. I think that one's a little bit better than this one. It took me a while, but I started to just say, you know what, it's not Terror Propaganda, let's just forget about it and treat it as its own thing. And after I did that, I really started to enjoy it. It started to grow on me a lot. On its own, it's grown on me quite a bit. I wouldn't call it Album of the Year or anything, but I've just learned to appreciate it a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, it just is what it is, and when I just kind of forget about everything else that comes along with a band like Kraft, it starts to grow, and you know, I've actually really found myself enjoying it here lately. So just don't compare it to its early material. Just let it be its own thing, and I think you'll get a kick out of it, because I've heard a lot of people just really knocking on this record. It's out on Season of Mist, by the way. I totally forgot to tell you that. I like the CD being that old school, just printed on the CD itself, you know, no label. I like that. Let's see, can I pull this book out? There's really no point in showing you the book, because it's just that and lyrics. So, whatever. Nothing much to it. But, you know, again, I heard a lot of people really crapping all over this record. I would say definitely give this one a few more listens and just kind of treat it as a band you never heard before and just kind of go from there. And I think eventually it's going to start to grow on you a little bit. It's not amazing by any stretch of the imagination. Don't think I'm sitting here just, you know, saying, oh my god, it's fucking great once you give it a chance. It's okay. It's not a bad album. It's definitely not the when I first started listening to it. So, yeah, give this one a shot. Give it a few more listens. Just see if it'll grow on you a little bit. And I don't know. That's just what happened with me. You know, the last couple times I put it on, it's like, this isn't that bad. Come on now. And that's another reason why I haven't shown this one since I got it, just because it's taken a while for me to really get into it. So there's that. So that's all I got this week. Next week I'm going to have, it's either next week or the week after. Anyway, I got some more 2018 shit to show. I'm doing 5 in this one, and I normally do 5 when I'm showing records and stuff off. So I think next week I've got, just to get them out of the way, I've got 7 to do, 7 or 8. So we'll knock those out. I've got a couple more things I want to do, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I know this has been a clusterfuck mess, like it always is, but I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and showing some support. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.